Coming to you from the Hudson Media Group studio, this is Talking Politics, and I am New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist, Top 50 Latino, as voted on by the Latino Spirit online magazine, along with the United States Latino Affairs Initiative, and certainly I'll continue to be the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media, because my level of honesty, ladies and gentlemen, now more than ever is truly necessary in this era of journalistic deception. That's right, it's me, Fernando Uribe. Happy June to you all. Hopefully you're getting a great start to your month. As always, there's a lot to discuss, so let's get started. Here's what I'm thinking about right now. Folks, it is the month of June, and as I've said on this program for many years now, it's the longest 30 days of the year for me, as we all know that June is also considered to be Pride Month. Now, let me just start off by saying that while I'm someone who's been a champion for equality and for equal rights, because as a matter of fact, when I first started my journalistic career with Hudson County TV back in the early to mid 2010s, I was the only journalist to interview one of the first same-sex couples to get married shortly after it was legalized in 2013. Now, nevertheless, though, I've been someone who's championed for equal rights and certainly someone who has always been about equality, being a minority myself, being someone who's the son of immigrants. I understand the importance about equality itself. But folks, we're beyond that now when it comes to Pride Month. We went from, hey, let's make sure we have equal rights, let's make sure we have the right to marry and certainly be as miserable as every other heterosexual couple on the planet, okay? And certainly to not be discriminated against in the workplace, in organized sports, or even in the business world. So all of those things have merit, folks. And again, I would never, ever condone discrimination on any grounds based on your sexual orientation. But we've moved away from that. We've moved away from, hey, we just want equality, we just want to be respected, to, hey, let's make sure that, hey, if drag queens want to read to children as young as 5 years old in our public schools or in our public libraries, that should be okay. And if you object to that, well, then somehow you're a homophobe or a transphobe. That's not the case, folks. And you're neither of those things by opposing something like Drag Queen Storytime or Pride Days in our public schools. Because again, if parents want to object to these demonstrations, it's their right to do so. Remember, public schools are funded by property taxes and taxpayer dollars in general. So if parents want to go to their local school board meeting or talk to the local superintendent or object to the local principal of the school that their children attends, well, they have every right to do that. Again, it's their tax dollars that are funding this. But folks, it's beyond that now. It's beyond that to where we're going from crying for equality to just crying altogether. To where if you don't acquiesce to our demands and you don't acquiesce to what we believe in, then hey, we're going to come out with the blankist accusations and the blank phobe accusations. Folks, I've been hit with all of them. I've been called a misogynist, a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe, Islamophobe, homophobe, transphobe. Folks, you name it. There isn't one Isterphobe that hasn't been levied against Fernando Uribe. But here's the spoiler to everything. It's all bullshit. That's all it is. Because there isn't one shred of evidence that even corroborates it. Now, let's get back to why Pride Month seems to be something that, while on face level, decades ago, looked like a very worthwhile endeavor. Now it's been hijacked. Not just by corporate America, but it's been hijacked by the woke fools and progressives and all the social justice clowns that want to, let's be honest, weaponize and sort of embolden perpetual victimhood. Now, again, when we think about Pride Month, yes, it's 30 days in June, but folks, even with 145 days in the calendar year, that still isn't enough for the alphabet mob. It just isn't. And again, that's not me being hyperbolic. Let me give you a list of these days and why it's gone from, hey, let's preach for equality and really, let's make sure no one's discriminated against, to now we're going to shove an agenda down your throat. Let's start off with early February. We have Aromantic Spectrum Awareness Week from February 19th to February 25th. I have no idea what the hell that is. Then from March 21st to March 25th, we have LGBTQIA plus Health Awareness Week. Jesus. Then on March 31st, we have Transgender Day of Visibility. Then April 9th, we have International Asexuality Day. I mean, okay, so you're not interested in either sex or in being sexual. Really? We need a day for this? April 30th is the International Day of Pink, which is the day opposing homophobia. I mean, folks, where does it end? We're only in April, okay? April 14th is the Day of Silence. April 26th, Lesbian Visibility Day. Really? As if you can't see lesbians being out there and they're not visible on a daily basis. I mean, folks, you can kind of sometimes tell who a lesbian is. But again, let me not go there. Okay? Then May 17th, which pisses me off. It's my birthday, actually. It's International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. Folks, again, this use of the word phobia. Folks, I'm not afraid of gay people. I'm not afraid of trans people. I'm not afraid of bisexual people, okay? A phobia, when you're calling someone a blank phobe, you're sort of insinuating that they're afraid of something. I'm not scared of any of these people, okay? So can we stop using that word because it just doesn't make sense? Again, that's the academic in me, and that's me. That's the literal person in me just objecting to all this nonsense, okay? Then we have on May 19th, Agender Pride Day. What in the F is that? Okay, then on May 22nd, we have Harvey Milk Day. Well, I guess you don't know, Harvey Milk was a former government official in San Francisco who was running for Congress, I believe, for the House of Representatives back in the late 70s, and I believe he was murdered for being gay. Now, there are some accusations about Harvey Milk's private life and whether or not he was actually a good citizen, but nevertheless, hey, as if we wouldn't objectify criminals anyway, especially here in 2024. But in any event, then May 25th, we have Pansexual and Panoramic Awareness Day. Again, what? And then, of course, the entire month of June, all 30 days, is Pride Month. And then June 23rd is Stonewall Day. And then June 28th is International LGBTQ plus Day. Really? So what's the difference between that and, I mean, it's ridiculous. Then on July 14th, we have International Non-Binary People Day. And then July 16th, we have International Drag Day. Really, as if we need to be glorifying this. Okay. And then September 16th to September 23rd is Bisexual Awareness Week, okay? And then September 23rd is Celebrate Bisexuality Day. So the week before, we're raising awareness about being bisexual, but then at the end of the week, it's Celebrate Being Bisexual. What? Okay. Now the entire month of October, check this out, is LGBT History Month. As if, doesn't that get accomplished with Pride Month? Aren't we learning about what's going on in the LGBTQ plus minus A, B, C community during the month of June? Now, the entire month of October has to be a history month as well. So, of course, October 8th is International Lesbian Day. Really? As if, hold on a second. So, Lesbian Visibility Day in April isn't good enough. We need to have also International Lesbian Day. So what? We need to look out for lesbians throughout the globe? I mean, what? And then, of course, October 11th is National Coming Out Day. Doesn't Pride accomplish this? All right. And then October 17th to October 24th is Gender Fluid Visibility Week. What do we need to be visible about someone who's gender fluid? Really? And then, of course, October 19th is International Pronoun Day. Really? As if we're not being subjected to pronouns every single day? Folks, here's something that really drives me crazy. Again, here's the academic in me, and here's someone like me who's literal, and someone who is very OCD about grammar, okay, and linguistics. Nobody, not a single person, should be able to claim that they go by the pronouns they, them. They're not plural, okay? They're a singular person. Now, unless you have become Agent Smith from The Matrix, where you can copy and duplicate yourself in very large numbers, or the one character from the X-Men, if I'm not mistaken, it's X-Men 3, The Last Stand, okay, who was able to copy himself as well. If you can duplicate yourself and there are clones of you, right? Or even like the clones in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, right, where stormtroopers were created. If you can't clone yourself, you don't have the right to say they, them. It's nonsense. But folks, what we have done now, every single month, right, of the year, and obviously for years now, is we're enabling this stupidity. We're enabling the left, all the woke fools, all the social justice clowns, all the progressives, and the alphabet mob to now hijack linguistics and hijack language. And you're damn right it pisses me off as an academic because I didn't go to school all these years to now have my intelligence insulted about what linguistics is. But that's what the alphabet mob, that's what the woke fools and the left have done now. Now they're hijacking. It's not bad if they hijack other elements of our society. Now they're hijacking linguistics, right? So let's go to October 19th, which is Spirit Day, support for LGBTQ plus youth. Folks, that's what Pride Month is for. And then October 23rd to the 20th is Asexual Awareness Week. Wait a second, didn't we have asexual, I think somewhere, right? I think a romantic spectrum. I think we saw it somewhere earlier in the year, right? A Gender Pride Day. I mean, folks, really? Asexual Awareness Week? Okay. And then October 26th, we have Intersex Awareness Day. If you want to tell me what that is, be my guest. And then the entire month of November. Folks, we have June, then we have October, and now the entire month of November, all 30 days, is Trans Awareness Month. So basically, we're dedicating a month to people who are mentally ill. That's what we're doing now, folks. And I'm not going to apologize for that. Okay? Then on November 5th, we have Transparent Day. Not being transparent, it's if you have a parent who's trans. And then you have November 8th, which is Intersex Day of Remembrance. We just had Intersex Day a few weeks ago, right? I think during early in the year. And then we have on November 13th and 19th, we have Transgender Awareness Week. And then on November 20th, because it wasn't good enough just to have it in March, right? With, if I'm not mistaken, Transgender Day of Visibility. Now on November 20th, we have Transgender Day of Remembrance. Folks, 145 days in the calendar year, and it still isn't enough for the alphabet mob. It just isn't. And of course, don't even take into account, folks, this isn't even a complete list, because we also have designated days based on the United Nations and other worldwide institutions and authorities. So, and essentially, folks, it's almost every day of the year is something to celebrate about the LGBTQ community. Again, we've gone from celebrating people who've been oppressed, and wrongfully so, by the way, to now being celebrated constantly. Here's a news flash for everybody who's LGBT in New Jersey. If you're being celebrated, you're not oppressed. And there's tons of journalists in New Jersey who bitch and moan about this. We all know Jay Lasser from Insider NJ, Terrence McDonald from the New Jersey Monitor. Again, anybody else who identifies as LGBT will bitch and moan during the year about how bad they have it in New Jersey being a gay man. No, you don't. Okay? If you're being celebrated to this extent, believe me, the last thing you could ever claim to be is oppressed. But folks, that's the time we're living in. And that's the climate we're living in right now. Where if you don't acquiesce to the alphabet mob at all costs, then here comes the attempt to cancel you. And here's the funny thing. You can't cancel me. I'm a brown man. And while, hey, I might say some bombastic things, guess what? Majority of the times, what I'm telling you is the truth. It's actually accurate. So good luck trying to cancel me. And believe me, people have tried to no avail. But again, folks, it's the most insufferable 30 days of the year. It's every June. I can't wait until July 1st. But more importantly, what's happened now is that the LGBTQ plus minus A community, basically the alphabet mob, have hijacked this cause so much that whether it's corporate America, whether it's our public schools and higher institutions of higher learning, whether it's social media, whether it's the media in general, folks, it's insufferable coverage. It's just this constant coddling and pandering. Again, and for a lot of local elected officials, let's be honest, folks, all it is a photo op to go paint the crosswalks and use taxpayer dollars for drag queen story time at the local public library. We see it in Hoboken all the time, right? The Lollipop Guild, right? Mayor Ravi Bala, Joe Quintero, Emily Jabor, Phil Cohen, and the rest of the clowns at City Hall in Hoboken. Yes, they will pander and virtue signal with the best of them. Why don't you take some of those taxpayer dollars and go along Sinatra Drive and replace all the rusted, decaying rails that are there? Why don't you repaint some of the sidewalks or pave some of the sidewalks? People love to run, walk their dogs. Well, guess what? Why don't you worry about that and use those tax dollars for this instead of pandering and coddling the alphabet mob? Well, then again, that takes integrity. And that four-syllable word is just too big of one for a lot of people on the left, all the woke fools, social justice clowns, and progressives who love to enable victimhood and love to coddle the alphabet mob at all turns. I won't do it on this show. I never have, and I never will. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. And now some local stories for your consideration. And let's start off with the Jersey Journal. And quite frankly, folks, they continue to embarrass themselves with pretty, nonsensical endorsements. Last week, the Jersey Journal editorial board decided to endorse Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala as he challenges U.S. Representative, the incumbent Rob Menendez, in the 8th Congressional District. Now, I'm not going to sit here and read this nonsensical endorsement. But what I'm going to tell you, folks, is that, number one, it's usually the kiss of death. If the Jersey Journal endorses you, you're pretty much shit out of luck. You're not going to win an election. Okay? That's the first thing. But secondly, what's really interesting to me is somehow Ron Zentlinger, the editor-in-chief at the Jersey Journal, and some of the rest of the clowns that work there, like Josh Rosario and others, would have you believe that Rob Menendez is this awful choice for re-election. Now, I get it. Some people locally think of Rob and they think of his dad, Bob. And certainly his father, Bob, is currently embroiled in a federal trial right now in New York City to address allegations about bribery, corruption, and everything else. And folks, I've said this before on the air and I'll continue saying it. We're all entitled to presumption of innocence, okay? Our legal system guarantees us innocence before guilt and due process. And we're going to find out exactly what Bob Menendez's lawyers are going to allege about the Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney's Office. And I've said this before. All it takes is one juror or two or three, who knows, to sit there and think, does the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the U.S. Attorney's Office have it in for someone? I think we've learned that even at the statewide level, we know how weaponized that justice system can be. But at the federal level here with Bob Menendez, and again, folks, kudos to him for submitting the necessary amount of signatures to run as an independent later on this fall to attempt to retain his seat as the senior United States Senator in New Jersey. But this is the thing, folks. You can say what you want about Rob. You might say, hey, he was born on third base. He's a guy of privilege. He's a guy who was given that seat by his father. You can say all those things, folks, and whether or not they're true, I mean, that's really up to your personal preference. But the Rob Menendez that I know has gone to Washington, D.C., has rolled up his sleeves, has done the work. He's brought back tens of millions of dollars from Washington back to the 8th Congressional District to address flooding, to address infrastructure, to the fact that his Office of Constituent Services has helped over 1,500 different constituents on matters, not just about, folks, it's not just about, oh, I can't get a passport, like serious immigration issues and other issues as well. 1,500 plus cases is what Rob and his staff have worked diligently on to help residents in the 8th Congressional District. Okay? Now, again, the Jersey Journal has their objections that Rob was appointed there, that he was, I guess, whatever, it was passed on to him, whatever you want to call it. Again, I'm not going to read the nonsense from the Jersey Journal editorial. You can read it for yourself. If you need something to put you to sleep, trust me, read the Jersey Journal. Okay? I mean, I'm not someone that struggles to go to sleep, but if I'm ever feeling like I am maybe experiencing insomnia, trust me, I can just go to the Jersey Journal website, click on a few articles, and trust me, that'll knock you right out. But what makes the endorsement laughable is the fact that they also go out of their way to highlight Ravi Bala's indiscretions. The fact that he's been sanctioned by the New Jersey Bar Association, by the New York Bar Association, and he's also been censured by the New Jersey Supreme Court. Okay? And there's already an ongoing lawsuit in the city of Hoboken by a former city employee named Leo Pellegrini. Now, we'll see what happens with that as it goes, I'm sure, to the federal level. Okay? So there's a lot of question marks about Ravi. Sure, the Jersey Journal is smart to highlight some of the question marks they have about Rob, and yeah, they decide to highlight the question marks about Ravi Bala. But if that's the case, then either Ron, Josh, and the rest of the Lollipop Guild at the Jersey Journal, well, guess what? You should either not endorse anybody, or if you have concerns about the two leading candidates, then why don't you endorse the underdog, Kyle Jasey, right? The guy who hasn't been able to raise hardly any money, who hasn't gotten really any press coverage other than, for example, here at the Hudson Media Group with my fellow journalist colleague, fellow Rutgers alum and fellow member of the Pinnacle, John R. Hines, who's interviewed Kyle. Sure, why don't you go endorse him? But the idea that, oh, let me go endorse Ravi despite the fact. Folks, you see, this is what it makes me think. This is Ron Zettlinger's mindset, okay? And the rest of the editorial board at the Jersey Journal, okay? It's like me saying, I had a really shitty ex-girlfriend in 2022, and then I had a really shitty ex-girlfriend in 2024. And, I both have concerns about them. But pretty much I'll go with the one that's less shitty, and let me go back to her because, I don't know, I need to, get laid again. Folks, that's the mindset that Ron Zettlinger has in picking Ravi Bala. It makes zero sense. If you have concerns about Ravi, then don't endorse him. Either, again, don't endorse anybody, or endorse the third candidate in the race, Kyle Jasey. But you look foolish, Ron, by endorsing Ravi Bala. you look silly. But then again, when it comes to looking silly, the Jersey Journal has been doing that lately on a consistent basis. Now some happier news, and a special thank you to Daniel Israel from Tap Into Jersey City for his great reporting on this story. So, coming up here in the month of June, you'll be able to laugh the night away at the upcoming 2024 Jersey City Comedy Festival, which actually begins on June 11th. Now, Jersey residents can prepare for a week of laughs with the upcoming Jersey City Comedy Festival. The event is a collaboration between the Art House Productions and Rich Kamiako, owner of the Laugh Tour Comedy Club. In an interview with Tap Into Jersey City, Kamiako said that this is the fifth installment of the festival since 2018. The event went virtual in 2020, followed by hiatus for 2 years before triumphantly returning last summer in 2023. According to Kamiako, the festival started as a monthly pop-up event ran out of the Art House Productions beginning in 2010. But after a while, it branded out and became a full-time festival hosted at the Art House and at the Laugh Tour Comedy Club. Kamiako said the festival begins at 8 o'clock on June 11th. On that day, the event kicks off with a headlining performance by Rachel Feinstein, who recently released her own Netflix special entitled Big Guy and has made appearances on Comedy Central, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and Inside Amy Schumer. After Feinstein at 8 o'clock on June 12th, the festival will feature other headliners such as Kyle Gordon, who recently performed as part of the 2024 Netflix is a Joke Festival. Kamiako said he's also an alumni from the first festival in 2018 and has over 1 million followers and 1 billion views across different social media platforms. Both shows will take place at our house, which is located at 345 Marin Boulevard in downtown Jersey. As a matter of fact, just 2 blocks away from the Grove Street pass station, so it's easily accessible with mass transit. Folks, I got to tell you, I'm someone who has attended the Jersey City Comedy Festival in previous years, and it's definitely a great time. Whether it's upcoming comics or, hey, maybe ambitious young ones, it's always worth attending, and it's always worth going to get some laughs, especially in this tribal political climate that we're living in, folks, especially after this primary season and, of course, what's coming up later in the year for November and the rematch between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. Hey, we need some laughs along the way. We need something to sort of bring a smile to our face once again in this toxic political climate that we're living in. And you know what? I definitely recommend you check out the Jersey City Comedy Festival starting up on Tuesday, June 11th. Lastly, folks, and this will be our last episode as we head off into summer break, but I want to take this opportunity to remind you about the importance of supporting local journalism. More importantly, the Hudson Media Group. For years, the Hudson Media Group has been the leader in independent media here in Hudson County, producing outstanding shows such as Hudson County View Live, hosted by John Hines, the editor of the Hudson County View, Stick at Night, hosted by Hudson County Commissioner Anthony Romano, and of course all the great work by Greta Hernandez and the great students at North Bergen High School. In addition to other programs, the Hudson Media Group continues to produce on a weekly basis. But folks, I got to tell you, in April of 2019, when I started here with the Hudson Media Group, I didn't know what to expect. And I'm forever indebted to the kindness and to really the belief in my abilities that Patrick O'Malley, the CEO and executive producer here at the Hudson Media Group, continues to demonstrate each and every week. 5 years in counting is no easy task, and I'm really, really grateful to him. I'm grateful to all the staff that I've worked with here who've been incredible professionals, have been so diligent, and have an incredible eye when it comes to detail. But folks, let's get back to the importance of local journalism. Because guess what? It's been disappearing. Print newspapers have really gone the way of the past now. When we think about how we used to grow up here in Hudson County, we used to think of the Hudson Reporter. I used to love waking up Saturday mornings, going to my front porch, and pick up the Hudson Reporter and reading it. There's a lot of good stories on there. The editorial page was great, and the comment section was even more hilarious. But folks, it was that type of enjoyment that I always really get to revel in when it comes to reading local papers. And yes, I still read the local paper. I still have the New York Post delivered to my door. I'm a big sports fan, big Yankee fan, Cowboy fan, Laker fan, Devil fan, sports fan altogether. So I love reading the sports section first. And I'll work my way through the editorials and all the way to the front. I subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, and I also subscribe to the New York Times. Yes, be it a faculty subscription, which again saves me an incredible amount of money. But in any event, I still enjoy reading the paper, but that's not everybody. And what's happened in recent years, we've seen digital news sites replace print media. Now, of course, in some instances, that's been a good thing. When we're seeing left-wing publications like the Star Ledger and the Bergen Record slowly disappearing in terms of their print editions, well, that's not exactly a bad thing. I'm not exactly crying for them. nor will I miss them. Yes, the digital editions will still be available, but who's really subscribing to NJ.com? Who's really subscribing to the Star Ledger or the Bergen Record or NorthJersey.com? I can't think of anyone that's really doing that. But I can tell you, folks, that when it comes to digital news sites, the Hudson Media Group has been one that continues to lead the way. And sure, yes, I enjoy reading the Hudson County View, and of course, the great work that's done by their editor, John Hines, and other staff members like Daniel Oloa. I certainly enjoy reading Tap Into Jersey City, of course, led by their editor, Steve Lennox. Great work by reporters like Al Sullivan and Dan Israel. Of course, as well, I enjoy reading HUDPost. And yes, I get it that HUDPost has sometimes become sort of the TMZ or the world stars of local news with funny videos and AI-generated type of productions, and I get all that. But they produce some news, obviously, in columns. And we'll see what Bruce Alston, the editor of the Hudson County Chronicles, will be doing now since he's joined HUDPost. Of course, obviously, there are other news sites in Hudson County that continue to get traction, whether it be Hoboken Patch, the Jersey City Times, and even the Jersey Journal. But I read them all. But the one thing they all have in common is that, hey, they've understood the importance of evolving. And that's what digital media is now. Yes, we're always with our smartphones. We always have our tablet near us. I know at home when I'm watching TV, I have my tablet. I'm scrolling through the news feed. I'm scrolling through blogs. I'm scrolling through columns because that's who I am. I'm a political junkie. But when it comes to incredible local journalism and incredible production value, folks, it's always here with the Hudson Media Group. I can't say how grateful I am. I can't say it enough. How grateful I am once again to Patrick O'Malia for believing in me, believing in this show, and believing in my brand of opinion journalism. Let's be honest, it's not for everybody, whether it's this show or whether it's Real Talk with Fernando Uribe via Jersey First TV. Yes, opinion journalism, it's not for everybody, but trust me, once you get hooked, you'll never stop watching. And that's one of the things I've been very grateful for all of you that tune in every single week here to Talking Politics, and also with Real Talk via Jersey First TV. I'll continue to work hard for you folks because you know what? You deserve it. And if you're putting your confidence and trust in me, I got to give you the ROI back. And trust me, I think I've been doing that for some years now. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all for supporting my brand of opinion journalism, but more importantly, supporting the excellent journalism and production brought to you by the Hudson Media Group. And that's our show for this week. As a matter of fact, folks, it's our last show here as we head off into summer break. We'll return later this fall with obviously a lot to talk about with the presidential election coming up on November the 5th. And of course, House races, Senate races, and of course, everything going on in today's political climate. So you definitely want to tune in for that. In the meantime, you can check out the Hudson Media Group, the leader in independent media, by going to their YouTube page. Of course, make sure you like them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram and Twitter. You can also check out my Facebook, of course, Talking Politics with Fernando Uribe, and also make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's always Talking Politics right here with the Hudson Media Group. I am New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist. Top 50 Latino was voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine, along with the United States Latino Affairs Initiative, and certainly I'll continue to be the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media, because my level of honesty, ladies and gentlemen, now more than ever, is truly necessary in this era of journalistic deception. That's right. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. For all the dads out there, happy Father's Day. I can't say how grateful I am about my dad, Fernando Sr., and my uncle, Dan Sr., who are just incredible men, hardworking immigrants, hardworking family men, but more importantly, just amazing fathers. I love you guys. And to all the dads out there, to our CEO and executive producer, Pat O'Malia, to all the dads out there, do me a favor, enjoy Father's Day, because Father's Day should be every day. For all your commitment, your love, and hard work that you bring to our families, we're really grateful. Enjoy your summer, folks, and we'll see you this fall once again as we return with Talking Politics right here with the Hudson Media Group. I'm Fernando Uribe. Thank you so much for watching.